Things of that nature, and you owe it to yourself. Oh.
So with it, everybody.
Yeah.
What's cracking?
What's
Y'all
up,
know who it is.
gangsters? Y'all know how we
Yeah.
get busy. Y'all know
Know what it is. It's Wednesday. It's sports. We live. You feel me?
like we always do
The
about
D and
this.
the Doc.
That's how it goes, man. Welcome back to Sports Talk Wednesdays, live on things of that nature. You know, we always got facts, numbers, and all the cultural pulses, and keep our finger on the pulse for y'all to bring y'all the most latest and greatest on what's happening with our favorite sports teams, as well as some of y'all teams and other sports that we just like to highlight. You know what I'm saying? Because D and I, we like that kind of stuff, man. We like tapping into
You know it.
the unusual stuff, man. So today, you know, we're gonna bring it all to you because why? You owe it to yourself, man, to stay informed and engaged with us. So hit that like, that subscribe, and that bell so that way you stay notified when we go live.
Yes, sir.
Get it?
Man,
Let's
what we
get
got
it,
cracking today, big dog?
man. We got
First
a
off, how
lot,
you feeling?
man. I'm blessed, bro. I'm above ground, like you know. What I'm saying we kind of got away from that, you know, seeing how we tap into the pulse of everybody's help. That you know, once we get up in another grand rising, that I'm blessed with. But how about yourself,
Yeah.
man?
Oh man, same here. No complaints. None
That's
worth none worth complaining about.
That's what it do, man.
Yes,
But yeah, we
sir.
got a lot on the plate today, bro. I know I'm gonna deep dive into some WNBA stuff as well as NBA, and you know the Clippers always making some headline news and making the
Mhm.
better moves than the other LA little scrubs across the way. So
Whatever, man.
you know we'll go ahead and
Yeah,
fly
what?
a little bit of
Man.
that in. I know you always got something coming with the football shit, so you know.
Yeah, I got a little something, highlight a little bit of all my teams today.
Mhm.
My
We got
hat tripping, but.
yep. That part, man, that part. But before we get started, as we always do about this time, he already got started. So light them if you got them, smoke them if you got them, spark and
Let's go.
blaze. But don't
Medicate,
miss out. Yeah,
alleviate.
that part. Medicate to elevate.
Yes,
And don't
sir.
miss out on any of our other segments, man. We always got, you know what I'm saying, the good stuff. Put something good in your belly with the Chef D. You know what I'm saying? Cal Grizzly over there, food with flavor. The session with beach bars and behind the scenes. Unfiltered combos, headlines, no filter, straight up talk and opinions that we share. You know what I'm saying? We like to hear from everybody in all different optics. And then we got also Stone Not Stupid, which is cannabis, clarity, and culture for the greeneries, you know what I'm saying? The 420 enthusiasts, as we are on this show. And don't forget, tap into what's in your playlist so that way you can see what people are vibing to in their daily grinds and the soundtrack to their life. And you owe it to yourself. Stay positive. Stay
Yeah.
positive. Let's keep that going, right? We got a theme that we like to share on here, and that's do good deeds. So do a good one to yourself and pat yourself on the back. You woke up, you got a smile on your face, and when you walk out that door, you're gonna leave all the BS in the house. All right.
Know
So
it.
let's move. Let's move. Let's move. Let's get into our first deep dive, man. Let's go ahead and start this. We're gonna start something real light. We're gonna start it off with the summer league, the NBA summer league, real quick. Shout out Charlotte. They went ahead and they won the summer league championship. So shout out to Charlotte for them doing what they were doing. Let me see. I think the MVP of that was. Let me pull that on up here real quick. My bad, y'all. Um, Con Knuppel, 21 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. He was the MVP of the championship. That's a good
Okay.
step coming in from college, showing out in the summer league. That's what it's there for. And you know, especially role players as such, like a Bronny, you know, you go there and you do your thing. But this one came to Con Knuppel, 21 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Shout out to them once again for the Hornets beating the Kings 83-78. Charlotte started out and you know what I'm saying, great first quarter, defended late. You know what I'm saying? You had Ryan Kalbrenner with 15 and 9. So all around, man, it's been a good show out for the summer league. It was great to see the young talents. I think the league's in great hands. We need to stop worrying about how we're going to hand this off and who's going to be the face of the league because we got plenty to choose from, y'all. Just
Yeah.
give them a chance. Give these young dudes a chance.
Let it happen organically. Stop trying to pick these so-called chosen ones.
Right. I mean, look, just like this. Look, we got Jones Garcia, right, for the Spurs. He was shooting 52.7%, man, and on 21.6 points per game for the Spurs. The Spurs is going to be deadly. Look at that, man. That's young talent just coming off the bench that nobody even. I'm not saying they ain't scouting for it, but of course you're gonna be thinking about the Wemby's, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah,
all the big names that's already on the Spurs and how to guard them. But you got this young dude coming out, you know what I'm saying, gunning, man. So definitely. Then you got, second year players like, or I'm not say second year players, but other role players on teams that show out as well, like Filipowski. He came out and he spotlighted for 35 and 32. You know what I'm saying? So that was, you know what I'm saying? These are players on other teams that people really just don't really hear too much about because it's a star driven league.
yeah,
So, you know, we wanted to highlight a couple of these individuals and root for them, especially if they come from an alumni that you like in your team in your college. You know what I'm saying? A fan of
yes,
your team.
sir.
So definitely root them on.
Oh yeah, that's why Jason Kidd has a special place in my heart because he came from Cal. And that's
Right,
how I ended up becoming a Cal fan was when they was out there when he was playing. I was like, damn, this dude's good. Like,
right,
you
right.
know.
Hmm.
And so I always been a fan, even though he wasn't really he was never a Laker, but it is what it is.
Almost, almost. He's
That's like with
he's an extension.
yeah, almost. Marshawn Lynch, same thing, came from Cal.
Right. Yep.
But then he went to Buffalo, and that's like my secondary squad as far as NFL goes. So
Right.
yeah, but you always look at them dudes. Aaron Rodgers, he came out of Cal,
Yep.
so he get a little spot there because he was out there balling.
Right. Definitely,
Uh,
man. Definitely.
yeah.
That's what it do, bro.
So um, it's wild out here, bro, with the sports
Hmm.
ownership. The sports ownership world is wild.
Yep.
And it's crazy because the sell off isn't necessarily about cashing out. You know,
Hmm.
it's a mix of skyrocketing valuations. Your media landscapes and the way media the different takes on things, tax strategy, and of course your legacy planning, right? Because you don't own a team just to be like, I own a team. You're trying to create,
Right.
there's something behind it, right?
Right.
So what's been going on, of course, is the record-breaking valuations, right?
Mhm.
We all know the Celtics went for 6 bill, Lakers went for 10.
Mhm.
You know
Wow.
what I mean? And owners are are I guess they see a chance to lock in massive profits right now, especially if they bought decades ago, right? For a
Right.
fraction of today's value. So that's that's obviously a good reasoning behind wanting to sell.
Right. Right.
Especially when how generations transcend and the kids don't always take up the family business because they're interested in whatever else. So, I get it to some extent, but I don't see why I let go of something like that. But we can go into that further. Um, Live
Mhm.
sports is a big part of the whole, mass viewership. You having reliable sources, right? So that's another thing that stems with these, media rights and streaming and all that stuff. It gives, like Amazon and Apple, they bid for broadcasting rights, right? So
Yeah.
that has a lot of that inflates the value as well for a team. Like, hey, we're locked in with so and so, or you know what I mean. So
Right. Yeah.
there's a
And it's
lot.
funny
There's
that
a
you
lot
say
that
that.
goes.
Just I'm gonna highlight something real quick because we're gonna come back to that point and something I'm gonna bring up later on. It's exactly what you're talking about on how the value of that, and you start to deal with all of these different external contracts and external funding sources, and
Yep.
how that plays into it. But go ahead, man. I just wanted to go ahead and tap in because it's ironic
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
brought that up.
And uh, you know, tax strategy and estate planning is
Mhm.
another part of it, right? So, selling now avoids those future capital gains taxes and estate tax headaches, especially for, aging owners. And, it also there's some that are trying to reconstruct the ownership, right? Through trusts, family offices to try to preserve that wealth and legacy. So those are some of the things. See, we just see it as, oh, they own a team, but there's a lot
Well,
that goes into owning and buying and selling, and why people do it. Billionaire trophy assets. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Teams are seen
yeah,
as status symbols now.
right.
You know what I mean? And so it's almost like owning a Picasso, right? Oh, I got a
Mhm.
team. So some of them are doing it because hey, that's something that someone at my status should have, right? You got these billionaires out there that feel, some of them are like, hey, they got friends that are like, you ain't shit, but you own a team. That type of stuff, right?
Right,
Uh,
right.
you a billionaire, but I'm a billionaire because you know what I mean? Because I got a team
Yeah,
and yada yada.
yeah.
So keeping up with the Joneses, everybody does it, no matter what your status is, right? So, and there's a long line of billionaires out there that want to buy, which drives the demand up higher, right?
Right. And one of the things that I heard along this journey of people asking what's what and where things are at, one of the quotes were said is like, I'll worry about like how much 'cause people are saying like, damn, these teams, like I said, bro, that's a big jump. I mean, when the Clippers sold, you know what I'm saying, years ago when Balmer bought him, it was 2.2 billion. And that was highly priced. He overbid
Yeah.
because he wanted to go ahead and make the deal right then and there. They were only asking for like 1.1 or something like that. So he gave them almost like an extra billion or something, relative to that. But now look, we're talking 10, 4. They're starting at 2 point something right now. It's pretty much an average um on, and this wasn't even that long ago, bro. So definitely it's what they say, it's expensive to own but lucrative to sell. So,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's
So,
definitely something.
yeah. And then you got your succession in retirement, right? Most of these owners are in their 70s or older, or and passing terms to your heirs isn't really as simple as you think or tax efficient, and people don't understand that. Yeah, that's even like just on a regular me and you level, right? You own a
Right,
home. I'm gonna leave it in my will to the kids. Yeah, okay, you gonna fuck them kids over because they
right,
paying tax. They ain't taking on your debt and all kind of stuff with that.
right,
Instead of it being in a trust fund and having a family trust like the rich do. You dig? So that things aren't as complicated or headachy to get through these processes, man. Because some of them prefer to sell than to take on debt or dilute the ownership, right?
right.
So it's like I
Mhm.
might as well sell the whole team instead of owning. Maybe it's what the predecessor says. Hey, look, if you're gonna sell it, if you're gonna instead of you divvying it up, just sell the whole fucking thing. Then if you ain't gonna, if you can't take care of it, instead of having everybody getting a little piece, and now you getting a fraction of what you used to get, go on and sell it for a lump sum and
Right.
keep it moving, right? So, like like I mentioned the Lakers sold for 10 billion, right? Back in 1979, bro, Dr. Jerry Buss paid 67.5 mil, not just for the Lakers, but for the
Right.
Lakers, the Forum, the Kings, and Cook's Ranch. So that's four things
Yeah.
that he bought and acquired with
Hmm.
that. And then here they go selling it for 10 bill. So if that ain't to come up,
Yeah,
something
that's
wrong.
just for the Lakers was 10 bill, and that's not
Yeah,
even
exactly.
three
Exactly. They ain't
three
say nothing about the
teams.
Kings or the
Yeah.
other properties. So that's just
Mhm.
one. So that's just a third
That's crazy, man.
of what
And
they sold off a third of what they paid for, like, or what they
right.
bought originally. It's kind of a
I mean,
no
and
brainer.
that's kind of like the whole thing. That's why when they talk about these issues and when you're dealing with billionaires and even millionaires selling assets and properties and different situations like this, they don't give all of the fucking data, bro. It's just the data that they speak about is relative towards that transaction, right?
Yeah.
Because we know that there's so many other things, just like what you spoke about, the external contracts or agreements like TV right, the naming of the whatever the
The
arena
arena.
stadium or whatever it is that you're playing in, right? So you have that, and then you also start to have a lot of other little, things that come along with it. So
Yep.
there's a lot that goes behind, um, you know, the the discussion, the action, and all that we get to discuss and kind of like put our 2 cents in on. But I'm sure there's so many different things that are looked at when it comes down to the books of things and how it makes money. And we're gonna go into the W and give a real time situation that's going on, once we transition. But it's a lot, bro. And the league hasn't always the NBA hasn't always been a profitable league either.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, to see where it's coming from in those, past situations to where it's at now, and then hearing these numbers. And like I said, in the past 2 years, you had 4 teams, man, that was sold. And though they're pretty. What was it? The Suns. What was it? Damn, the Suns, the Celtics, the Lakers, and the Hornets. That's like in the past 2 years, bro. That's four
That's a lot of
owners.
cash.
That's a huge. And then if you go back 5 years, you're gonna get even more, right? So, you don't really see that happening in these type of, you know, high end businesses.
Yeah.
It's not a big turnover. So there's something going on. There's something that they may be seeing, and I think it has a lot to do with the collective bargaining agreement, the splits of where you can no longer have these dynasties. We kind of talked about it. You guys can always check on our channel and tap into some previous sports talks as well. But we did talk about that where we said that you can't really build a dynasty anymore because of these taxes, the first tier and second tier taxes. And before it was just like, hey, you know what? We'll eat that cost. And because it was a lot more um, beneficial to go ahead and eat the cost and keep the players, because now you're going to get the fans engagement and the turnout, right? So it was kind of like it washed itself out or paid for itself in the long run. Whereas now you don't really get that, man. You have to make decisions, um, such as, a trade or getting rid of somebody because you can't afford them. Like watch what's going to happen to OKC. Like that's the reason why, if you notice, they kind of locked everybody up right now. And that was just because that way they're all on the same type of contract. They will all be coming up, ending around the same time, and a couple of them took them early, the extensions early, so that way they didn't get locked into the bigger market once the increase goes in. And every year you don't get paid the same amount. So when you see these 140, $50 million, $200 million contracts, they don't split that down the middle over the 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. The
Mhm.
contracts start smaller and then they snowball, right? So for those that don't realize it, you might get a 30 million here, but in the end, you might be getting 45, 47 million in that last final contract.
Yeah.
So it makes it harder to keep individuals. It makes it tougher to build these dynasties, when you have that. So I think that's another reason why they're trying to lock these players in sooner and earlier under the lower end of their contract spectrum. And then
Yep.
that's another reason why probably owners are selling, because they're saying like, shit, we can't capitalize off of being a dynasty and win 2 or 3 in 10 years in a decade.
Yeah.
So we do have a comment: trying to appease small markets will hinder the entire league as a whole. Effects, you do have a point there. When you do, when you try to, that's what it's parity, right? We're talking parity in the league. People got, like, in the olden days, the East was heavy, right? You had Chicago,
Yeah.
Detroit, Miami, and Toronto,
Boston. Yeah.
Austin. You
Well.
had,
Yeah.
but still, you had it was top heavy with the stars. But because of the collective bargaining agreement and all of this parity that they wanted to start to see, along with pay, those other things, the dynasty, right? So that way these small markets can kind of get the higher draft picks. But now
Yeah.
you just saw what happened, right? It backfired. You had a person who had a very small percentile to win, ended up winning and end up getting Cooper Flag, right? So it was like they who would have thunk that their percentile to win, which I think it was less than 2% or less than 3% to win the lottery pick, and they end up winning it. So
Mhm.
how much is that working? It's showing a lot. It's showing the parity in the league to where it's now, it is better to watch. You don't have a lot of they don't have a lot of the blowouts, the lopsidedness. I mean, you get the blowouts, but what I mean by that is like a consistent when
What up, Haas? My bad.
oh, it's all good. Shout out. What's up, Haas?
Yeah, that's the one that was sleep in the car that one time when we
Yeah,
was
we came through the
slapping beats,
studio.
Mister. Yeah, that's our heavy spitter right there. That's fucking
Right.
around.
Right. Well, he needs to tap in
I
on the
love you,
sessions.
boy.
He needs to tap in on the sessions.
Yeah.
But so basically, I think that has a lot to do with it. So the parity gave a chance to the smaller teams, the smaller markets, the leagues, up in there to have a chance. So you're gonna get your mixed emotions, definitely,
Yep.
man.
Yep.
It always happens, but I think in the long run, it was better. It was better for uh, the whole league as a whole, and we're gonna see and work through any issues.
Yep.
So,
Yep. Yeah, man.
but I do want to go ahead and transition because I think it's a perfect segue to go ahead and tap in into the W, man, where a lot of this is starting to go on. And you're hearing about it in real time right now. So the early stuff that the NBA had to go through, you're starting to see with the W. No comparison, just saying likeness, right? So
Yeah.
uh, as anybody who doesn't know, we'll go ahead and bring you up to a little bit of speed here. The W just recently had their All-Star game this past weekend. Um, it's we'll call it what it is. It's an all-star weekend game, right? So, with that being said, it was good to see the turnout. Unfortunately, it was in Indiana, and Caitlin Clark, who's right now the face of the league, wasn't able to go ahead and attend and be a participant due to her injury that she's been suffering with her groin. But outside of that, I think it was still a great turnout, man. The 3-point contest was very exciting. I think they bring something different to it than what the men do. The W, you're right, effects. The W is growing fast, and we're going to get into some of that information that is starting to make them say, "Pay us what you owe us." So let's go ahead and fast forward to the meat and potatoes of all of this, right? Um, they were wearing T-shirts, right? That basically we've seen this before in other sports. It says, "Hey, you know what? We are the product, and start paying us what we feel we're deserved and what we're owed." Okay. So what I want to do is I'm gonna play a clip of something that it was an audio that I want to set up here that's gonna kind of like set all of this in motion. Let me go ahead and set that up. But basically, it's talking about the money that they make right now, and how they feel they should be paid more. And here's some of the stats that a lot of average listeners really don't get into. They really don't know about. They just hear kind of like what it entails, but they don't really know much more about it. So let me go ahead and cue this up here, and it's going to be in several parts. We'll stop it and kind of comment on that as it goes. So let's do this here. Okay, so let me know. Can you hear it? Oh wait, my bad.
Wait a minute. All
You heard it? Anybody heard it? D? Okay.
right.
You
So
can't just throw it
now
around.
we gotta make sure we set the stage first.
Okay.
Before the All-Star game, all right. 2 days before that, 40 players met with the league offices in their latest round of their CBA negotiations. All right. Now, according to multiple reports, the players did not think that the meeting was very productive. They didn't think that it was helpful. They were very upset about what happened during that meeting. So, ahead of the All-Star game, which is for a lot of them the biggest night of the year, players on both sides, including Caitlin Clark, wore black shirts during warmups that read, "Pay us what you owe us."
Originally I thought it said welfare queens on it, but I didn't have my glasses. My glasses.
All right, so that's starting it off, right? That was the big hoorah. What's going on? What why are they doing all of this? And everybody was like, wow, both sides are doing it. So then when you start to see collaborations on everybody, sometimes you get one team or one side to do it, but now you start to see this it started to
That
ripple effect.
solidarity.
Right, because even the ones that weren't even participating in it are welfare queens. I know,
Yeah,
right?
that was
Um,
cold, right?
He said the
You know
W.
he got talked to after that. That's Fox.
Yeah, but that's also Rob Parker, so he's used to it. He
Yeah.
stands on his own plateau. But anyhow, let's go ahead and continue.
WNBA players are simply saying this, Rob. We are saying most leagues in the NBA, NHL, NBA, NFL, they're making around 50% of the revenue that comes in. 50%. The WNBA is only making how much you think? 30? No. 20? No. 10? No. 9%. So they're saying, hey, we're only making 9%. Our counterparts are making 50% of the revenue driven. And then somebody would say, well, what revenue and what's going on? Well,
All right. So let's tap into that real quick, right? 9% of the revenue. Just keep that in the mind, in the back of your mind, because they're going to go through and we're going to start getting numbers and how it jumps around and really takes a deep dive into certain things. But I want you to keep that in mind because it gets into it really gets into the broad scope of why they feel the way they feel, right? So just keep that in mind. 9% of 100%.
certain good things have happened and favorable for the league, which would be in turn favorable for the players who are essentially the product. The league has secured a new lucrative $2.2 billion media rights deal to begin in 2026 next year, which is expected to significantly increase revenue. So if you don't stand on it now, Rob, you know this from business standpoint, how am I going to get it? If I just go with the flow, all right, give me 9% yet, then I'm not going to get any of that $2.2 billion. But if I say, hey, we got to negotiate and go up to, 10, 15, 20, 25, whatever, however high they can take it, that's to me that's just simple good business math.
All right. See? So now 9%, and then they just inked in, that hasn't even started yet. The W just inked in a $2.2 billion TV lucrative deal. Okay, so the players are hearing this. They're damn, you guys just inked in $2.2 billion deal. So that is going to increase. You know what I'm saying? What we just talked about that in the NBA. We just spoke about that, right?
That's that popularity, that the whole, broadcasting, and let me get Amazon Prime and
Right.
YouTube TV and the whole everything, right? That's
Right.
people are
So
bidding now. They're like,
So
oh,
they just said 2.2 billion. That's what
yeah.
TV said. Hell yeah, we see where this is going. So let's go ahead and ink that in now. All right.
Why
So
not
now,
20 effects? That's a good question.
why not 20? Right. We'll get into more of that. Rob Parker's always been hating. I would agree with that, but also I like that he stays on his pivot, meaning like he's not gonna be moved off of his square, bro. Whatever he feel, and this is all subjective because once again, some might agree, some might disagree. But that's the reason why we're here to have these discussions, bring out a lot of the facts that most people don't want to talk about because they're just gonna highlight and point the finger at women, complaining about trying to get paid as men. All right, so we're going to go ahead and dive a little bit, skipping through here a little bit, because like I said, we're going to bring up all these numbers, and in the end, we're going to wrap it all up into one big conversation.
Why can't we? I think that's you. Let me speak for myself. I would advocate for myself as well.
I totally disagree. And I dare the WNBA players. I dare you. Walk out. I dare you to walk out. Go ahead and walk out. I double dare you. Because despite Caitlin Clark, despite all this stuff, they still lost $40 million this past year. There was no bonanza. She's at her height. If you're losing money at her height, how in the world going forward? It ain't going up automatically. You just had the biggest bump and you still lost $40 million. I dare the union to walk out. I dare you players. Because it ain't going to be pretty. You can't collect money for 30 years. This ain't some new league that started and you understand it's going to take a little while to make money. They were subsidized by the NBA. I know firsthand in Detroit. They didn't want the shock. The commissioner, they begged them, please. I know personally that when they were winning those championships, they couldn't sell tickets. They could not sell tickets. They had a full building. because they were giving them away.
Blame free.
That's the same, bro. See, this is the things that we don't know, right? This is the stuff that we only see and we hear about just through side conversation and water cooler talk. But see, did we know that? Did we know that the W has been subsidized by the NBA? So basically, what that means for those that don't know is that its whole existence has been basically forked out and under the NBA, and they're forking anything that they need to stay afloat. So this brings a different light to those that have like a Rob Parker. Once again, is he really hating? Because he has insight that we don't know about. So it's one of those things that we need to realize and take a little bit more time to get into that. Walking out to me doesn't seem like a fair thing to say. Hey, Haas, you're correct. I don't think it's fair as well. And since we are talking about fairness, man, that brings up a great point. I think it was more or less what he's trying to say as well is I don't think they're thinking about walking out because that would be foolish. Especially, I'm sure that they know the numbers that they have are being predicated by the NBA, that they've lost $40 million again, once again. So all these numbers, think about this, 9%. They just inked in 2.2 billion, but they just lost 40 million this year, this past year alone, with Caitlin Clark and Angel and the Reese situation and
And
all
what
this.
is that loss compared to though? The 40. Well, how much did they lose last season, or you know what I'm saying, the season before that? Or
Right.
was this less of a loss than last year, or just you know what I mean? We
Well,
don't know.
I know what the average is. The average has been it's been taken ever since its conception 30 years ago. It's taken a $10 million loss, but they'll get more into it. I mean, I'm just interjecting here, so let's give them a little bit more playtime.
You got to crawl before you walk, and I understand wanting more. But are you accounting for the 30 years of red ink that under normal circumstances you would not have had a league? These football leagues that keep starting up, USF, ULFL, all these things. Everybody all I'm ever told is everybody loves football, right? Why don't those leagues last? You know how many of those leagues are folded?
Oh, yeah.
Because they don't sell tickets. The TV numbers aren't good enough. And you can say whatever you want. Caitlin Clark, when she's not playing, the ratings went down 55%. Those are facts, not feelings. When she wasn't going to announce that she wasn't going to play the WNBA, the tickets dropped off the face of the earth.
Okay, so now let's backtrack a little bit. There's been a lot of hate, right, on the W. Everybody's hating Caitlin Clark. She's being targeted. You know, a lot of flagrant plays that's been going on. But yet, listen to the numbers. When she doesn't play, when she's not involved, when she's not partaking into the league and the game, this is part of the reason why it's taken a hike. We've had effects saying that, hey, you know, a great game, a great turnout. The W is growing. I've been on here advocating for it, as well as Kobe was advocating it, as well as other other NBA players are advocating for it.
Yep.
Now, it brings into question, are they doing it because they're made to? Because once again, the NBA has a big investment into the W, or is it truly, truly something that they want to, you know, advocate for because of the talent? My son and I, we have this discussion pretty often as well. So it's just something to keep in the back of your mind as we dive deeper into this, to give some more information that, you know, when you're looking at it and you're comparing it and you're taking all these numbers, do they really, really have a voice to stand on? And is the W a bad investment? So let's take more deep information.
Viable is what I'm saying. The NBA was its own entity.
Right. But I'm talking about the NBA. I'm saying the NBA didn't make money. They lost $13 million in 1980. That's the year Magic comes in, Bird comes in, and then things take off and they change. That was 40 years of the NBA. They still lost $13 million, which if you did the math into 2025, that'd be $48 million. So all I'm saying is it takes some time.
You think it's the same? You think during that time?
They're never going to make the same.
No.
Okay. So did you hear that, bro? Like, remember, it was taking a $13 million loss to NBA. So this isn't new.
Yeah.
So all of these people, what they're seeing, everything that's going into it, it really isn't new. So I don't know why they're making such a big deal about the revenue losses, because this is something that the NBA has gone through, the NFL has gone through. A lot of these teams, and I'm going to finish this on this part right here because it's the rebuttal side to everything that we're just talking about. And it's going to give all the percentages and all the numbers to the leagues that we like, that we watch, that we support, but yet we're scrutinizing the W. Let's take this.
So,
Give me 1 second here.
man,
That's
yeah,
crazy,
like you
bro.
said, you got to crawl before you walk. I mean, come on.
Got to. It's Mando, right? But it's unfair. So
Yeah, it is. It is. They're getting a raw deal.
are you hearing that? Because I don't see it
No.
on the screen. Nope. All right, let me try this again. Share. Sorry, you guys. Technical difficulties real quick, but we'll get this all back.
Yep.
Oh, there it goes. Okay, so now we're good. All right, Joe.
There's $40 million loss this past year.
Okay, so let me break it down.
Break
so
it down.
So it forever can be broke. Rob, you are a veteran journalist who has covered enough labor negotiations in Major League Baseball. What do owners always try to prove before or during any kind of labor tension?
They're not making any money.
Thanks to Restore, Primetime is back.
This is my time.
I didn't want to be bold.
Exactly. So let me ask you this, Rob. If the WNBA is such a bad investment, how are there 5 teams being added by 2030? If it's such a bad investment, how is it that the Golden State Valkyries team valuation is $500 million? The New York Liberties is $423 million. The Indiana Fevers is $300 million. They have 9 of their 13 teams are valued at over $200 million. The players see this. There's a $2.2 billion media rights deal starting next year. You damn right they want some more shrimp. Okay.
Yeah, but Jamel, what about the 30 years of shrimp they were eating when they were eating the government shrimp? And the W for WNBA stood for welfare. What about those 30 years?
Ignorant.
I don't know. What about the 50 years it took the NFL to turn a profit? What about the 45 years it took the NBA to turn a profit? And guess what happened during that time? They never stopped fighting for more pay. The players continue to make money. That's like saying, for this fine radio station that y'all work for right now, you mean to tell me if tomorrow, if they take a dip in stocks or if they lose money, then you shouldn't be paid?
No, Kelvin's got to go. I'm going to be here.
Hey, that's a great point because that happens all the time. Stocks go down. We lost this quarter. We lost, $10 million, $20 million, but our checks still clash every 2 weeks.
Yeah. Look, Tesla lost money for 17 straight years. Elon Musk is now one of the richest people in the world. The whole point is you cannot have a league that you want to take to the next level where the women are only making 9%. 9% of the revenue. Now, I'm not saying that maybe it should be a 50-50 split. I don't know exactly what the appropriate number is, but it can't be 9. Even UFC, which has a notorious reputation for not paying their fighters, it's 18%. So if you want to stop your product from going overseas and perhaps getting detained by a country like Russia, then you're going to have to pay them more money. This is part of how you elevate the league. You have to protect and invest in the players. And the women are just saying, listen, we were with this league because this was the case where we had to share hotel rooms, where we were riding on Southwest and not even getting in the A group, mind you. Okay. We had to go through all of that. So, yeah, you're going to have to run us some money. It only makes sense. They don't have a pension. They just, in the last CBA, they finally fought to get some paid maternity leave so they would still even get paid when they weren't playing. So these are important steps that we have seen every single league make. You know this as well, gentlemen, with the history of the NBA. The merger between the ABA and the NBA is what changed the salary structure. And even then, when the NBA was considered a terrible product, you had Kareem, you had Walt Frazier, you had Bill Bradley, you had a bunch of players making 6 figures. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was making more in the early 70s than the highest paid player in the WNBA is making now.
All right. I think that's enough to bring it all home, man, because there's a lot of
Yeah.
talk and speculation about this topic. So, shout out to Jamel Hill, shout out to Rob Parker, their podcast, because I think they did an excellent job with highlighting a lot of the information that we
Yeah.
we failed to get and receive. NFL took 50 years, right? I mean, she went down the list, bro, of all these Tesla, 17 years before it became
Yeah.
profitable. We're talking about, and all of these are doing well right now. So, with the light of more information, do we still hold the same spot and stand on that same square? Does Rob Parker sound really like a hater as much now? Because there's definitely a lot more substance behind his stance than just they don't deserve it. Now, can we argue about what the optics may see? That's subjective, right? But the facts of the money, the investments, the team's values, you got teams 200, 300, 400 million dollars. I mean, come on, bro. Something else is taking a turn that what we really don't see besides just women are complaining and want more money. The last thing
Yeah.
that Jamel Hill brought up is that just until last year, they had to fight to get maternity leave, a paid
Bro,
maternity
kind of
leave.
shit is that?
That is crazy because
Yeah.
anybody who knows and works a normal job, like even dads get paternity leave,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So this is kind of behooving to me where this is a sport. So basically, you're telling them that they can't even enjoy having a family because they had to put their bodies first. Like a Skylar Diggins who's has multiple children. It's just one person, multiple
Yeah.
of them. Nothing. I just know that for a fact because they highlighted it and how well she was able to maintain her. But she's an OG in the game, so that that all of those children she suffered at some point of not being able to um make those dollars, bro, because she wasn't there, right? So because like I said, if you weren't playing, you weren't getting paid.
Yep. Yep.
So let me give just back this up just a quick thing here. Average current salary in the NBA minimum is 525K. So the person that's sitting all the way at the end of the bench that you barely even get to see play, who's roster number 14 or 15, they're getting 525,000 as league minimum NBA. Okay, the average current salary for the W is 72,000. There's people that go to work and answer phones and data entry that are making more money than some of these WNBA players. Media
Yeah.
rights
Yeah.
deal. Once again, they've also got what's called that they didn't go into very deep is this. So you got a $2.2 billion new TV deal that starts in 2026. The attendance revenue, the attendance percentage has been up 26%. 23% has gone up in just the I'm sorry, in viewership, 23% in viewership, 40% increase in merchandise sales. And
Okay.
then they're also getting another $250 million, which is called the expansion fee, but that goes to the owners. So only the owners get to see that money. But you don't think the players still see and hear that and being like, you getting all of this? Look at everything that they're doing is predicated on what they're putting out there. They are the product.
Yeah.
So we gotta at least take that into light, man. And being an artist, like music artist, and seeing how music labels were designed to rape the musician, the artist, the performers.
Yeah.
Like this is pretty much along
Same
the
thing.
same lines, bro.
It's along the same lines. Yeah. It
It's
really
just
is.
standing up and they got a voice. So I man, salute. I have daughters, and I'd be
Same.
idiot to think that they shouldn't be paid more. I think
Yeah.
the product that they put out there is good product. Now, is it equal? Should they be getting 50%? Nobody's saying that. I'm not saying
Yeah. Nobody's saying that, but 9? Come on now,
that. We all have heard the UFC fighters and situations on money
bro.
talk. They're
UFC fighters, like they're receiving like 16, 20%
They're
total
18.
revenue.
That's what she said. 18% for UFC.
Yeah. No, I
So
just pulled it up
right.
currently.
Okay.
It's
So
it's between the
right.
16 and 20. So
Right.
yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
sure
So
that in the W, they're not all getting 9%.
nah.
That's just the overall cut to the
Yeah.
players. So
Yeah.
that's crazy, bro.
Yeah. Shit. Low base pay for a entry level fighter is anywhere from 10 to 30K per fight. Get kicked in the fucking face and swung. Man, come on, bro. You gonna spend half that on medical bills because I know they ain't offering medical shit, right?
Right. Right. That's
You know what I
another
mean?
thing yeah. You got to take
I
all of
see
that
why
into
John
consideration.
Jones and Conor McGregor and Masvidal and those guys and Nate Diaz complained about the way they were getting paid to go out there and do what they put themselves through. So it's no
Right.
different than the W, man. Pay what you owe. Pay them what they worth, man. They worth more than 9%. That's bullshit.
And for those anybody out there watching right now, the live, go ahead and put a 1 in the chat if you support what the W is doing, and a 2 if you support like the opposite. If you just don't think that they need to, so just give us that. 1 for yes, you support, you back them to get an increase on their paying a bigger share than 9%, and a 2 if you feel like it's already feasible for them and they should just go ahead and, what's the famous term that they tell basketball players? Shut up and dribble, right?
Dribble.
So
Yeah, bullshit.
be more of that. Um, but yeah, definitely interested to hear what you guys got to say, because that's a lot. And I'm gonna keep on keeping my finger on the pulse and bringing updates as much as possible, because I want to believe, and my subjective opinion is that they get my vote, they get my support, they get my
Yo, so
um, our platform, or my part of the platform, to go ahead and bring some light to what they're trying to do, and also to their sport. Man, go out there, check out a game. That's one thing I would also encourage. If you haven't picked up, what I'm saying, or got a chance to attend, if not even that, just to catch a late night game or an early game on Sundays,
yeah,
catch one, man. Take a
yeah,
look at it.
yeah.
It's not bad basketball, man. If you
Not
love
at all.
basketball, a strategist of the game, you're gonna enjoy what they're doing out there. So
Yep, definitely, man.
we're not gonna stay on the
Definitely.
W. So we're gonna go
Nah.
ahead and move on to other news. Let's transition to the NFL, man. What's going on with your squad, man? Denver been ready
Man,
to
well,
lose?
training camp begins, so the Broncos, kicked off with a light acclimation period, and of course, Bo Nix looks sharp and ready, uh, along with Cortland Sutton, Troy Franklin. We got J.K. Dobbins, Dre Greenlaw coming. This season gonna be something nice, man. And
Right.
Bo Nix, his off season, man, he was training with Drew Brees and passing guru Tom House on refining his mechanics and leadership. And Drew Brees is a is a
Hmm.
you know what to do. You know what I mean? And plus, he comes from that Sean Payton family out
Yeah.
there in New Orleans. So I'm sure he's showing Nick's, you know, showing him to get down, how to make the best use of himself in that offense, right? So
Hmm.
and Bo Nix already proved over in Oregon and that he's a well composed young dude. Like he's got a good football IQ and he know how to get out there and just and do what he got to do, right? And our defensive player of the year, Pat Surtain II. You know, he says he said he made a comment that he said that Denver is ready to dethrone the Chiefs and the Chargers. Uh, yeah, they're ready to disrupt the division's hierarchy up in this bit. So
Sounds
I'm
good.
looking forward to that. Those are bold statements
That's what I'm
and
saying. Sounds good.
sound good. Yeah, I mean, but when you look at if you look at the Chiefs, they last season, bro, they were winning by the skin of their teeth every game. They never
Oh yeah.
dominated in any game.
Right.
You know what I mean? They really
I
didn't.
agree.
So
Mhm.
we'll see what they look like. They've lost some players, gained some players. They still got the original crew, but you know, and then they got some contract talks with Nick Benito. one of our edge rushers, who's no joke. He led the league in sacks last season.
Mhm.
He's confirmed. They're trying to get some extension negotiations underway. They ain't gonna let that go. They're not gonna let that go. Not now. Nah,
Right.
that's like you know, that's like a Von Miller reincarnated on the end over there, man. I mean, we had a really good defense last year, bro. Like really good. So, you know, I'm looking forward to the season, man. I don't know
Right.
what's going on. I'm looking forward. I want to see how Aaron Rodgers does with with the Steelers. I just want, you know what I mean? Because they made that move, although they had like 1,000 quarterbacks over there. For some reason, they had a gang of quarterbacks over there at the Steelers. So I want to see what that's gonna look like, man, and see how him and Tomlin get along and shit. So, see how that
Right.
whole dynamic works. I'm curious. Because he's a vet, so want to keep his eyes on for sure. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see how that. I mean, because he really didn't have a. I mean, the first season, the first 3 plays 2 seasons ago, the Achilles came back
Mhm.
last season, and yeah,
Mm.
so it's good. Just want to see how he do.
Right.
We'll see how he do. I'm keeping my eye on the Raiders because they in our division, and I can't stand them. So you always want to hope to hear someone slipped and fell, and they can't play no more, just for a little bit, not for the rest of their life, but just this
Right.
season, right? But
That's
and I'm just joking when I say that. I don't wish no ill will on no players, but I mean they got Pete Carroll, bro. That might be something that's missing. Like I'm not saying that AP didn't do his job, because he did, because he had them boys doing better. But I mean, it just ain't they better really ain't all that good.
right.
So I'm looking. I'm curious to see how that's going to play out. And it never takes. It's never going to be the first season. I mean, it could be, but
Mhm.
when you get a new coach, bro, you got to give it a good three, a good
Right.
3 seasons before you can really see, because you got to get everybody to buy in, right? You got to get everybody to buy in into the program, the system, find the right pieces. But have to
Mhm.
move some people around, piss some people off, light a fire under a couple of them. You know what I mean? Depending on what you're trying to put together. So
Right.
I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to the season. I don't know what's up with your Niners, but
Hey
I know
man,
we.
we actually are are coming back healthy because that was a big thing for us.
Yeah,
We
big. Y'all,
Yeah,
y'all,
we
y'all was
had
dropping like
Christian
flies last season,
McCaffrey,
man.
yeah, McCaffrey, Williams, Trent Williams, Nick Bosa, just to name a few of them. The big ones, I should say, right? So they all came into the to doing drills, individual drills, looking healthy. So
Okay,
that's been a good report. They said they haven't really partaken team drills just yet, but that'll be more as they develop. But all their individual drills been looking good. They come in healthy. Um, we did have an injury with what's the dude's name, Jacob Cowing, on one of our receivers, hamstring during practice. So that's going to be touch and go there. Anything that's dealing with that, a hamstring growing and all that good stuff.
that's a
Um,
week minimum. That's a week minimum.
right,
Like, yeah,
right,
just
yeah, and it's always going to be a touch and go because you don't know how much you could push yourself.
yep,
So because any little, saying you feel a little uneasy anywhere, and depending on how you cut and how all of that shit, man, it gets affected.
yeah,
So, hopefully he comes back. We'll say, Shanahan, he's gonna go ahead and keep close eyes on that with Lynch and basically see if he's gonna miss too much time or not. But at least right now they can go ahead and jump on it and kind of get treatment done as we speak. So let's see what else we got. Jennings, hey, that's good right now. Despite all his shenanigans, talking about being traded and all that good stuff.
yeah.
He's actually on the field participating in the early parts of the team's first camp training and practices. And he's been
Okay,
there with good spirits. They said he's been in the locker room, even though he's said what he said, you wouldn't be able to tell by his actions. So salute to the man for doing that, bro. Because time and time again, we hear a lot of these athletes, bro, and they go in there and they play the Wawa bag, right? So It's they got to complain about everything, and then they're gonna pout until they get their way. Um,
Yeah.
so, shout out to him who's actually coming in, partaking in everything. He hasn't changed. Basically, all his indications show that, yeah, he may be unhappy with his contract, but he's not letting it change the way he approaches the game. And we all
That's
know
what's
that
up.
the game is bigger than any one player, any one jersey. I like it that we had our Hall of Famer Patrick Willis. He's out in attendance at some of these early, practices from the sideline. So I'm sure that's a good feeling to have a
Oh,
Hall of
yeah.
Famer come out and just oversee and give you maybe some words of,
Yeah.
inspiration of going into the season. So you know what, man, all in all, bro, I can't complain. Kittles, what I'm saying, he was hanging out with Jennings, so that's a good sign too. So
Yeah.
I'll take all of them little,
All them
little
little wins. Yeah.
yeah, I'll take it
Yeah.
for where it's at right now. And hopefully we can go into this season the way it is right now without too much negativity. Everybody shoulder to shoulder and lacing them up and ready to hit the field, man, and go to war.
Yep. For sure. For sure. I got to give a shout out to Champ Bailey because he just, at that Hall of
Yep.
Fame. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Shout out to Champ. That's one of my favorites right
Yeah.
there. You
Yep.
know, and I think Vaughn is wearing his number this season
Right.
as a paying homage to him or something like that. Yeah, so that's what's up.
And I
We
want to say
need
one
Vaughn.
last thing too before we go on that is that for my Niners, we open up against the Seahawks. So that's gonna be a good test, a little
Great game.
jumping out the gate right there, division rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
And then also that I get to talk shit to my son. So we get to
Yeah.
start the season off. You know what I mean? Like the whole with all of this.
Get
Let's
it
go ahead and
started
jump
real
right in,
early.
bro. So definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
That's what's up.
Yeah, man.
So we
But
ain't
yeah,
gonna we gonna see any we gonna see any pictures of him having a rock a Niner jersey or you in a Seahawk jersey, bro.
it'd be him and the Niners, bro. Definitely.
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah,
And of
yeah. I
course,
know.
my other squad, man. I'm a Redskins fan. You can call them what you want, Commanders, whatever.
Yeah,
Redskins fan right here, bro. So I'm pretty excited to see what we do too, bro. Debo went over there from the Niners. We got, of course, Daniels, man. He's just a,
yeah.
a beast in the backfield. There's a lot of different things that I know they've acquired a couple different pieces, man. That's gonna make
Yeah,
them look pretty sick. So
yeah.
can't wait.
It's
Can't wait
gonna
to
be
see
an
that.
interesting season as always.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what's going on.
Yep.
Yep. We had a couple. Uh, jump to baseball, so I can get this out the way because my
Let's do it.
Dodgers is doing horrible.
Yes, they
Uh,
are.
man, they got the seventh highest ERA in NBA in MLB, and they've allowed the second most homers, bro. That's horrible, 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 horrible. They have gone 3-11 since July 3rd. But they still remain the World Series favorites. Y'all might want to get y'all shit together.
They do. I'm a
Yeah,
call.
they know it's
They
weird. They
do
know how to
this
kick it
every
into
year,
gear,
bro.
right?
It's like they do this lull, and then
They
all of a
go
sudden they
slump.
just take off and start just winning.
Yeah.
As
Yep.
much as I hate to see it happen, but that's kind of like their thing. Like on us, we start off hot, and then we
And then
start to
y'all,
tank. Yeah, we
yeah.
start to dip off. So it's kind of like one of those situations where, um, we'll see,
The
man. I know
brightest
we got
part about it is Otani. He's been, he's homered the last 4 games straight.
yeah.
So
I know.
that's the
I didn't think
that's the
he got a
shiny.
late one last night too, bro. He got a
Yeah,
late one.
yeah,
Because I know he was I was watching and I was like, dang, it don't look like he's gonna keep the streak alive, bro. And I think it was in the seventh inning. I don't know exactly when, but by then he still hadn't hit one. He didn't even have a
yeah.
hit. I think his only hit
Oh
of the
shit.
game was a homer, to be honest. So,
Okay.
and once
Yeah,
again, I like Otani because he came from the Angels, man. You guys got to get our
yeah,
sloppy
yeah.
seconds. I get
Whatever, bro.
it.
Whatever. He got him a crazy contract too. Shit, his deal
Oh hell
is
yeah,
off.
bro!
Man, his contract is
It's
off the chain, bro.
it's
Off
ridiculous,
the
bro.
chain. And he don't
It's
get it all till he done. He gotta cash me out.
you guys
I don't
got
know if
yeah,
is
go
that
ahead.
was a smart move or was that not a smart move? I don't know. Like, because I don't know how baseball, I'm not sure on how they pay. Most of their money guaranteed, ain't it?
As far as
All
I'm,
of it.
yeah, as far as I know, it
Yeah.
is. But
Anybody out there know?
I know, right? um, but just to speak on it though, you guys got a squad, man. Especially you guys got a good pitching staff.
Yeah,
Um,
they just in a slump right now.
yeah, that's all.
That's all.
So,
It happens. I mean, but what do they play? 115 games? Like, you gotta fall
shit, no,
off at some point, right?
it's 162,
100.
160.
Oh well, shit. My
Yeah,
bad. Yeah,
yeah,
that's a lot of games, bro.
yeah. I know,
That's a lot of games.
I
That's a lot
know.
of games. No wonder they be playing each other 4 times straight and have these little
Right. These little,
series and stuff like
yeah.
that.
And
I
speaking of
wonder
series,
have they ever thought about lessening their season?
they have.
Like,
They actually
yeah,
have talked about it. They've discussed it to the point to where it's been saying that could basically bring a little bit more competitiveness to it because you're shortening the season. So now
yeah, you ain't got time to lollygag and slack
right,
off
you
and
got to
shit.
come out and stay. Put on
Yeah,
the gas and maintain. So, um, but yeah, man, it's definitely this is the second half of the season now, so it's really going to be tight. And see, I know we got the Subway series, I mean the Freeway series, right, or whatever it's called, coming up, and we highlighted. I think it was coming up in August. The Angels and what is it called? The Freeway series, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Baseball players do. They receive 100% of the salary promised in their contract, even if they're injured or underperform.
Okay. See,
Applies to major league contracts. Yeah,
might not be a
not
bad.
minor league, just major league contracts.
Right. Right. Well,
Contract
yeah.
splits are those aren't uh,
Right.
eligible either. But yeah, except for misconduct. So if your ass is acting out of line, then that's about the only reason why you gonna get your money taken from you, right?
Right. You can't go out
They
there
have
and
their
show.
union fought for it though. Their union, the MLBPA, fought for they have a very strong players union, so that's why their contracts are guaranteed. They fought for it,
Right.
so
Right.
they eventually
Sure,
got what they wanted, right?
they were at a point just like the W at some point, and you have people stand up and say, "No, we ain't gonna do this." But one thing is that baseball's has always been
Yeah,
that
that's always
sport.
gonna be.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
any
always.
sport doesn't go, it's gonna the one that sticks around is gonna be baseball, bro. That's
Yep.
America's pastime. Like, it ain't,
Right.
you can say football's America's sport.
Well,
No,
it's starting to come up and creep behind as football, but I think they're
Yeah,
probably meshing in football and football, like two. They're probably taking
and
both.
honestly, football is way more popular than football. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like, that's probably bigger than, that's the largest global sport. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Definitely.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
And keep our
and,
eyes
and
out,
plus,
man, because we're gonna have to get on here after August. What, the 13th of August, the Freeway Series starts. So
okay,
yeah, man, we're gonna come on here and clash.
that's all good. Y'all just gonna lose, and it's all right.
Negative. We about to show Tani he made the wrong decision.
Man, he gonna hit a home run every game.
That part, we'll
Calling
see.
it now.
We'll see. He's gonna go under. He's gonna pull up with a whack ass injury, and I ain't asking for it.
Nope. Shit, him and that 700 million, he ain't tripping.
Better be tripping.
$700 million. Yeah,
Yep,
yes,
crazy,
sir.
crazy,
Yeah,
man.
that's wild.
Take a
That's a lot.
moment here once again for those. Don't forget, man, we got other segments. Tap in, things of that nature. Our full
Yes,
page, whereas we got you know, putting something good
Stone
in your
not
belly.
stupid. You got a
Stone
little
not
bit of
stupid.
everything.
Yeah, the
The
session,
session.
unfiltered combos, what's in your playlist, and then also little segments of that we kind of like don't highlight too much, but which is strain of the day as well. So
Yeah, what you
tap in.
smoking on? What you
Always
medicate with?
about ready to go myself, man.
Man, I
Get
feel
that
you. I'm out. I need to roll up.
yeah, that part. Let's go
Yeah.
Clippers. Go Clippers. Let's go Clippers.
Yeah, let's go outside.
Team. Yeah, I was
Outside to the curb and get splashed by the bus. Clippers. That's what I need y'all to
that
do.
part. I can't wait, man. Can't wait for the season. Like I
Oh
said,
yeah, it's
watch-
closer than we think too. It's crazy. Like
see
I'm
our
just waiting
depth.
for football though. Football is like, I'm like, come on, man. Give me let me see. Just air some practices on TV. Training camp. Like, just give me a little bit of something, man.
Right?
Yeah.
it's right around the corner, man. That should
Oh
be
yeah,
here
so
in no time.
my wife
man.
is like, you could wait. I was like, I don't have a choice. I know that, damn it. I'm just saying. At least
Right.
just get me there. Get me there. That's
You
I'm
have
ready to put up the other TV. I don't know where I'm gonna put it, but I just want to put it up so I can have another one that's straight for the games. Straight for the game.
right.
Yep. But man, I think
Well,
we're gonna wrap it up for another episode of Sports Talk Live Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate our guests for tapping in.
as
Mr.
always,
Tony Effects. Hassan, what up? Why?
shout out.
And there was somebody else that jumped on there. I don't know who it was, but much
Yeah.
love to you too.
We appreciate you all. We appreciate you all. Spread the word.
Yeah, spread the word. Because y'all can just click the link and you can jump right in.
That's that
Have
part.
some conversation with us, you feel me?
Yeah.
Let's get it popping.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Well, until the next time, y'all. This is Thing Dose, Doc Madness, next Wednesday, same time, 1 p.m. And we get right back at it, dropping all the latest and the greatest and about on our sports teams. And hopefully, you know what I'm saying, we can bring some light to y'all sports teams as well.
That's right. Thing Uno, Up Coast Kings, Chef D, Cal Grizzly the Chef. We getting it. Be nice to somebody. Stop being an asshole. Got enough of them motherfuckers out there. Be nice to somebody. Make somebody feel better about themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Definitely.
Yeah, be out.
And all y'all kids, get ready. School's coming back. Put y'all
Get your asses to school.
Not that y'all learn much in school, but you know,
Yeah,
that's
but
still
get out of
the
our face.
Peace.
We out.
Things of that nature.